Hey guys, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we're going to be going over the Archgun the Morgha. But before we start, let's go over our commenter board. The first and top commenter of the last video was Pancake in a Bin, and our recent channel supporters are Elite Reverser, Whoop-De-Wham, and Nice Bear. Thank you so much for your support. Unique and interesting things about the Morgha is that it's an automatic grenade launcher with two different firing modes. The first firing mode is an automatic grenade launcher, and the second alternate fire mode shoots even bigger grenades that will bounce on surfaces and explode in a 12-meter radius or a 20-meter radius if you're in space in Archwing. Now, this also has innate blast on both the primary and the alternate fire. And like the other Deimos Archgun and like a lot of other Deimos weapons, this has a charging mechanic where as you get kills, you'll have this little bar that charges up, and after 5 kills, that will allow you to shoot the alternate fire. So you're not just able to always alternate fire. You have to charge it up by getting 5 kills, then you can alternate fire, then it'll go back down to 0, and you have to get 5 more kills before you can alternate fire again. Now let's go over the mods. We have Prime Dual Rounds for 110% multi-shot, Automatic Trigger for 60% fire rate. In the next 2 slots, we're going to have some Critical Chance mods. So we have Parallax Scope for 100% critical chance, and Critical Focus for 60% critical chance and damage when aiming. So these 2 mods altogether are going to bring us up to a 78% critical chance, which is nice. It irks me a bit that we're not at 100%. That means that, what is that, 22% of our shots are not going to have critical damage applied to them, which kind of sucks. So if you had a Riven for the Morgha, having a Riven with a good amount of critical chance, like even more than 100% or even more than 60%, could be really good to get your critical chance over that 100% threshold, so you get more value out of your critical damage. But even without a Riven, 78 it's an okay amount of critical chance there, and it works perfectly fine with just these 2 if you didn't have a Riven. Next, we have Hollowed Bullets for 80% critical damage. In the next 2 slots, we're going to be making Viral. So we have the 60-60 Toxic mod and the 60-60 Cold mod to make Viral. Viral and Heat will be your best option here. However, if you have an external way to make Viral, then instead make Corrosive, and that would be the 60-60 Toxic and the 60-60 Electric in that case. And now the next mod, like we said already, is going to be Heat, which is going to be the big 120% heat of combustion rounds. And we use the big one here, that way we can increase our heat weighting to at least be on par with Viral. It's tied with Viral, which isn't great, but hey, it's basically as good as we can get it there, unless we want to use non-upgraded Viral mods, which is an option. I just don't like doing that myself. Okay, now in the arcane slots, we have Primary Crux, which is on a weak point hit. We gain 300% status chance and 6% ammo efficiency for 10 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. That's 300% status chance and 60% ammo efficiency. Both of those things are very good, because if we look at a blank config here, this weapon actually has really good stats. Critical chance of 30%, that's really good. Critical damage of 2.2, that's slightly above average, that's good. And a status chance of 28. So it has a really respectable status chance already. So 300% of 28 is, I'm not great at math here, but it's about 84, I think. So yeah, we get a lot of status chance from Primary Crux, and this weapon is incredibly not ammo efficient. And so the ammo efficiency from Crux, like, it's still not enough. The Morgha is still ridiculously not ammo efficient, but I couldn't even imagine using this without Crux, because oh my goodness, this thing is so ammo inefficient. So Primary Crux is great for both of those things, the status chance and the ammo efficiency. Next, in the secondary arcane slot, we have Cascadia Flare. If you noticed, we didn't have any flat damage mods on this particular build here, and that's because Cascadia Flare is going to be taking care of all of our flat damage for us. This is on a heat status effect. We get plus 12% damage for 10 seconds, stacking up to 480%. It's a large amount of flat damage, so this takes care of all of it for us. And we have the heat mod here to be able to stack up Cascadia Flare. This is how you build out the Archgun the Morgha. I hope you guys liked it, and if you did, consider leaving a like and subscribing for future content. So now we'll have a 5-minute gameplay portion showcasing the weapon, and when that's done, we'll come back to the Orbiter and we'll give it its final score and rank. So I'll see you guys again after the gameplay. Alrighty, we're about to start this 5-minute gameplay portion up of the Morgha here. I'm gonna go ahead and hack the terminal and we'll get into it. Now, like the other Archgun videos I've done, I am going to be using Proteus Dispensary to help with heavy ammo, just so I can give you guys a good showcase on the weapon. Normally, you probably won't be using arc guns with a way to permanently keep them out. There are ways though, so maybe you would. You know, there's Proteus Dispensary, of course, like I'm using. Lavos, I believe, has a heavy weapons build where you can have a heavy weapon out all the time. There's another way that I actually wasn't aware of until a few commenters said it, and that's one of the Kubros, the one that has the augment called Dig. I guess that can dig up heavy weapons ammo. I didn't know that. I thought it was just regular ammo, so that's another great way to do it. Probably even better. And now, you know, in Necromech and Archwing, you don't have to worry about that because there's no ammo in Necromech and Archwing. It's just a rechargeable weapon, basically. The alternate fire on this, so we did another Deimos weapon 2 videos ago, the Cortege. The Cortege has an alternate fire that you have to be very careful about using, because if you use the Cortege's alternate fire incorrectly, you're actually going to be losing DPS. And that's because the Cortege has a delay before it lets you primary fire again after you alternate fire. And the alternate fire is a little bit clunky and you don't always get like great value out of it. And so sometimes you could be hurting yourself with the Cortege. Now, the Morgha is like the opposite. Very easy to get good value out of the Morgha's alternate fire. And so even if there's not an enemy right in front of you, I just suggest to alternate fire it basically on, I don't want to say cooldown because it's not really cooldown, but as soon as it's full, just go ahead and alternate fire it. It's going to bounce around and hit something eventually. And it's got 12 meters of explosion radius. So it will find value on its own. Whereas the, you know, the Cortege was like the opposite. Like, you know, if you're not 100% sure you're going to get value on it, just don't even alternate fire the Cortege. As you can see here, I am struggling on my ammo efficiency. I'm being very careful. That is the one negative with the Morgha. This is extremely powerful, but you have to like spend half the mission staring at the bottom right at your ammo. Obviously, again, not in Necromech or Archwing. That just has a heavy weapon, but this is very similar to another Archgun called the Ayanga. I'm wondering, maybe I'll do the Ayanga tomorrow just to give them like a head-to-head test up against each other and see which one like got better like kill per minute and single target damage, things like that. I like both of them. I just don't know if one will outperform the other. I feel like the Morgha is probably going to outperform the Ayanga, but you never know. Maybe I'll be surprised on the Ayanga. So maybe that's what I'll plan for tomorrow, is to do the Ayanga, just because it's so similar to this, and we can get a good head-to-head, which is the better auto grenade launcher. I think the biggest downside to the Morgha, and I've already said this a million times, is the ammo efficiency. Really, really bad ammo efficiency. Now, as you go into a mission, like the longer you spend in a mission, you get more and more heavy gunners, you know, which have a % chance to drop heavy ammo. So it really is like the only, like the first like 5 or 10 minutes that's kind of an issue, where you don't really have a lot of heavy gunner spawns. Like as you spend more time in the mission, you probably will be able to be a bit more ammo efficient just by picking up more heavy ammo. But it's a little bit RNG though. You know, it's RNG if you get a lot of heavy gunner spawns. I don't know what other enemies drop heavy ammo. That's something I probably should have looked up and I did not. There's probably like a Corpus variant or infested variant. Maybe, I don't know. If you know, let me know. I would love to know that, to be honest. I'm too lazy to look it up, and I will probably forget to look it up after this video. All right, we're almost at 5 minutes here. Let's take care of this sentient up here. We're gonna have Thraxus soon. I don't think we've got an Acolyte yet, so we'll hopefully wait for the Acolyte to come out as well. All right, let's give the Acolyte like maybe 30 seconds to come out. Sometimes they're late. I believe their oh, here we go. Okay, yeah, their spawns I believe are 3 to 8 minutes, and if he was like an 8-minute Acolyte at it, I wouldn't want to wait for him. So you see, he chunks him down pretty easily there. So pretty good against the Acolyte. Pretty good sync target. Definitely good kill per minute. What do we have here? 642 in 5 minutes, which is really good. So let's head back to the Orbiter now. Welcome back to the Orbiter, guys. So let's go over how the Morgha did in its 3 10-minute runs on Steel Path Lewis Circulus. It got 1,156, 1,205, and 1,137 kills, putting it easily in the S tier for kill per minute potential. When it comes to single target damage, it's really damn good. Versus Eximuses, they just kind of feel like trash enemies. You barely even notice Eximuses. Versus Thraxes, it's pretty good. It's not as deletey as it is versus Eximuses, but it still kills Thraxes really quick. And versus the Acolyte, same thing. It doesn't instantly delete them, but it still kills them very quickly. S tier is reserved for weapons that instantly delete those big enemies. So I don't want to give this S tier because of that. So we'll give it A tier for single target potential. When it comes to ease of use, it's an automatic grenade launcher, so it's very easy to use. It has big AoE. The alternate fire has an even bigger AoE. Now you do have 2 things on the build that maybe make the ease of use a little bit more difficult. It's not really that difficult though, is you have that one mod that gives you increased critical chance and damage when you're aiming. So you do want to be aimed in, and then you're using Crux as one of the arcanes, which means that you want to be hitting weak points, which honestly is just going to happen randomly anyway. You don't even have to be trying to hit weak points. You're just going to randomly be hitting headshots and, you know, keep Crux up. So that's not really that big of a deal. But because of those 2 items, again, I don't want to give it S tier because there is 2 things that, you know, make you actually have to try to aim somewhat okay. And so we'll give it A tier for ease of use. So that's my take on the weapon. Tell me what you guys think. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. All right, bye.